Hi guys, I wanted to talk to you about something that I'm seeing in your speeches, and it's what's known as a zombie gesture. Just my term for it. All gestures need to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Now, the beginning position should be what we talked about in our prior video on grounding your hands and feet. It is your fourth finger resting gently on the seams of your pants. That is the perfect spot if you just kind of gently ground it to make sure that your body knows what it's doing. It feels connected, so it's less likely to kind of like freak out and have these like jittery moments where you don't quite know what to do with your hands, that sort of deal. So take your fourth ring finger, right? Gently on the seams of your pants and let it stay there until you need it, and then let it die. Okay, so your beginning position is here. That's also your ending position, but you want to make sure that it has a graceful death. Okay, so what you're going to do is, let's say we're just doing a simple two-handed gesture that comes together and back down. Okay, so your beginning position is down. You then have your moment. Your moment is your middle movement. And that middle movement, in this case, is going to be, I'm going to talk about one thing, I'm going to talk about another thing, and this is how they get pulled together. Now, a lot of you don't let them die. This is your zombie. You keep these hands up, and then you start moving into another gesture, and then you'll move into another gesture, and maybe you just kind of keep this hand up, and this hand never goes away. And from your audience's perspective, I know, right, like I've got a New Jersey family, we talk with our hands a lot, but the problem here is, it's very distracting for your audience when you're constantly talking with your hands and they never go. This is like the reverse basketball dribbling, or almost juggling, right? Where you're constantly, instead of like dribbling like this, you're constantly going like this. Sometimes you guys get into it and you actually do juggle and they never go away. So your motion should have a moment and let them die. You're going to not slap them down, but you're going to be nice and graceful about it. Just back to hands with those ring fingers touching those seams. Okay, so zombie gestures. Number one, you got a beginning, a middle moment, and an end, a nice graceful one. You are going to return to your resting at your seams. And finally, you're just gonna remember, let it die. One of the best things that I suggest to students is that when they're having troubles with their hand gestures, to have somebody watch you and then have them specifically look at your gestures. That way, if you're holding your hands up for more than 2 or 3 seconds at a time, they can slap your hand. I mean, if they're getting real close to you, you can have them slap your hand. I've had students who have had family members squirt them with a spray bottle of water, make sure there's nothing else in it though. Or simply to call it out and go, hands, 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 hands. You need to become self-aware of what you are doing with your body. I suggest the same thing for feet usually. If you're a really antsy walker, you're wringing your hands, your feet might be, dancing too. You can have people in your audience call out your feet, feet, ground them, ground them, ground them. Your hands are kind of the same deal. Make sure that you're having a beginning, a moment, and an end, but do let those gestures die. And make use of your audience in your practice speeches so that they can be giving you feedback as well. If you have any questions, you can always text me through Remind. Thanks.